The following program is brought to you by Podcast One Sportsnet.
Hey, Podcast One listener. Are you gluten-free, paleo, vegan, kosher, or keto? What if with one click of a button, you can sort over 90 categories based on your dietary needs or food allergies? What if I told you that for the first time in history, there is an online marketplace that sells all of your favorite premium, organic, non-toxic products at wholesale prices and delivers them straight to your door? No more time spent reading labels. No more time spent driving through traffic to your nearest organic store. So who is this online store? Find out today by going to thrivemarket.com/podcast and get 25% off your first order, plus free shipping and a 30-day trial. This online store is already up to 50% off, and now they're giving you an extra 25% off, transforming a regular $100 grocery run into a $50 to $75 order. Go to thrivemarket.com/podcast to see the prices for yourself today. That's thrivemarket.com/podcast.
Direct from the heart of Lakers Nation, Podcast One Sportsnet brings you America's Lakers Podcast with Jay Mohr, the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers. Get the inside scoop without the gossip about your favorite team that lives up to the purple and gold standard. Here's your host, Jay Mohr.
America's Lakers Podcast, my friends. I'm Jay Mohr, your host, with my buddy, my man, my right-hand man, Aaron Larsoul.
What's happening? Glad to be here, as always.
I'm always glad when you're live from the underground with me, my man, at Aaron Larsoul, Larsuel.
I like that we call this. I think we've settled on that, the underground. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, man, because we are underground, and we're not going to be gossipers. We're not going to go, what if I heard that I didn't hear, because I was talking to you off mic about fans in certain towns.
Yes.
And it seems like Los Angeles, across the board, has becoming a bit of a sinkhole. Like, nobody even knows the Rams are just throwing the ball around.
Right. Goff looks great, and they're leading the NFC West. It's frustrating, because you read things, and you read articles, and you can spot, like, false narrative. That's weird. Like, yeah, they're going to work Julius Randle up to... You're very good at pointing that out.
Thank you. It's my job to criticize anonymously. Put your name on it. I'll put my name on it. I'm not going to put their name on it. Hey, they're going to work Julius Randle up to starter minutes. Like, no, he started every game that he played last year.
Yeah, for 2 years he's been the starter at power forward for the Lakers.
And I was being Wally pipped, Joe DiMaggio Wally pipped.
Yeah.
But he didn't get injured. He just came in great
1930s Yankees baseball reference there.
Never not going to be relevant, my man. You can't lose your
30s?
job, 40s, tail end of World War II. You can't lose your job to injury.
Well, that's
false.
That's what Luke said about inserting Larry Nance Jr. back into the starting lineup tonight as we record this.
It was an odd move, I thought. No, you take guaranteed offense off the charts. And look, I'm a big Larry Nance fan, and I want to see Larry Nance playing 22 minutes, just maybe in the middle.
Okay. Only second and third quarter for Larry Nance Jr.
National news, man. The Memphis Grizzlies fire head coach Fizdale.
Well, you had to hire him first to fire him.
They hired David Fizdale,
yep.
And then they fired him 2.5 years later.
Today, yes, they fired him. He of the "Take That for Data" sound drop against the Spurs in the playoffs last year. Take that for data.
One. Yeah, it was a great drop too. And by the way, you just said the Memphis Grizzlies in the playoffs against the Spurs. The Grizz made a good run, man. They're tough to beat. They've always been hard to beat.
Yeah, the grit and grind era.
And they lost 8 in a row. And David Fizdale is not the reason they lost 8 in a row. Like, Mike Conley's hurt.
Yes.
And Mike Conley, when he came to Staples Center, I looked at you, I go, this guy's an MVP candidate every year. Good God.
Mike Conley is possibly one of the most underrated players in the league, and probably the most underrated point guard in the league. I don't think, we can check this, but I'm pretty sure he has never made an all-star team, and he is a fantastic point guard.
Do you think, is there a town where you would go more under the radar than Memphis? Like Utah, they know you.
In the NBA, you're talking about? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Although Zach Randolph, who's now in Sacramento,
everybody knows Zebo, man.
Yeah, Zebo was basically the mayor of Memphis. But yeah, Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, probably two of the best 30 players in the NBA and have been for some time. Memphis has been under the radar, and they don't get, for a town that loves basketball, like Memphis loves basketball, it's more of an amateur basketball place. They love the college basketball team, and high school basketball is big there. They don't draw real well, and it's a terrible TV market, so they don't make any money from
the
TV.
last one in the league is the number 30. So that's why they take the checks from the other teams for the revenue sharing. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what revenue sharing is about. You went in knowing you were going to have a garbage TV contract. So the revenue sharing, and Fizdale, by the way, let's see, David Fizdale is in my opinion. Let's play deal or no deal, Aaron. Ready?
Okay. Do I get to hold the briefcases?
Yeah.
Or we got the... Okay. Yeah, thank you. All right.
Take it. Careful.
Yep.
Those are fishing lawyers. Don't hook yourself. David Fizdale is the number one reason, that the Memphis Grizzlies got to the playoffs last year, Aaron. Deal or no deal? I don't know the music to do it.
No deal.
No deal?
No. I mean... Mike Conley and Marc Gasol are the reason.
Look, this is the official podcast of Los Angeles Lakers.
It is.
But we keep it 100 always.
Always.
Straight up. If Luke Walton is the coach of the Memphis Grizzlies last year, did they go to the playoffs?
Yes. Because if I get Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think, and even now, Conley's been hurt, which has a lot to do with this losing streak. But even now, I don't think Fizdale is the reason that they have been losing. I just told you Mike Conley, their best player, has been hurt.
Yeah, but he's the reason he benched Marc Gasol. But that's the only thing a head coach can control is your minutes.
Yes.
And if you're a pain in his ass, he sits you down as a last resort, or some dudes like Jordan Clarkson, a first resort. Like, you know what? Come on up the floor. You're pretty hot. When you cool your jets, cool it, Luke. When you cool it there, Luke.
Yeah, what they used to say about Michael Jordan, the only person that could stop Michael Jordan is Dean Smith, because he would sit him down in North Carolina all the time.
That's amazing. Guys used to play like 38, 40 a night all the time. You were correct. Mike Conley never made an all-star team. It's a tough position, baby.
Yeah, the Western Conference point guards.
How about number 2 on the list? Greatest players to never make an all-star team. Number 2 is J.J. Redick. He's a shooter.
All right.
But it falls off a bit there, no?
All right. Yeah.
Gordon Hayward, Serge Ibaka. DeAndre Jordan surprises me.
I thought...
just for the spectacle of those block shots.
I thought... are you looking at an old list? Because I thought...
Batum.
Nick Batum. Yeah, Nick Batum has never made an all-star
He is
team.
one of the greats, isn't he?
Always.
Rudy Gay, Wes Matthews, Derek Favors, Andrew Bogut. Well, it's the West, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. And now this year the All-Star game is here. Right. The All-Star game is here in Los Angeles, and they are drafting the All-Stars from the different conferences, but then they're going to have captains and draft the teams, which doesn't make much sense to me, unless you want to see, teammates going up against each other.
Do we know who the captains are going to be?
We don't. I think it's the leading vote getter for each conference. So
we're going to have LeBron
and Steph. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the only one. Okay, Aaron Larsoul has played Deal or No Deal on America's Lakers podcast.
This. Yeah, let's do it again.
The All-Star game is in Los Angeles. Lady Boss, Jeannie Buss made it really clear last year it'd be heartbreaking if they'd have an All-Star when they hosted the All-Star game. LA always gets it together at the buzzer. Like, it'll be pouring rain here, snowing, sleet, rain, earthquakes.
Yes. Like, you won't even get your mail, but...
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. And then the Rose Bowl, boom, sun comes out, 72 degrees. It's like, Jim Murray wrote a great column about it. Like, she's just that old gal that just tightens, gets the makeup right.
Puts it all together.
And company comes over and you're like, your wife's amazing. And you go, yes, she is.
We could say L.A. cleans up well.
Yes, she is. She is. You say proudly. Lakers, Los Angeles, L.A., it just gets together somehow. It's weird. Like the 84 Olympics. Like, who's this Uber fellow? Can he run for president? Back then. Do the Los Angeles Lakers. They send one individual player to the All-Star game. Aaron Larsoul, deal or no deal?
Deal.
I agree. And
well, are you including the All-Star weekend?
No.
Are you talking about the actual All-Star game? No deal.
No deal.
No deal.
I say deal because I think Steph eventually looking around goes, I want to play with Brandon Ingram. Or I think the fans vote also, right? No?
Yeah, the fans are a part of the starters.
Julius Randle is going to have a local campaign that's going to just get him up around 400,000 votes.
Well, that would be interesting.
Of course he is.
They do that. What was in the NHL? Some
hockey
random
fat guys
exactly.
that are known for eating many pancakes and vomiting. Bucket.
The last 2 years, last
God.
year in Golden State, and then the year before when he was in Dallas, Zaza Pachulia, your favorite, the hacker, was almost voted in as an all-star starter both years.
Scared me there, dude, because that guy stinks. You start the first 8 minutes, get 4 fouls, get 2 points on 5 shots, and then just sit over there with your John Stockton hair and be cool, man. Mm-hmm. Be cool. My friends, this episode, of course, of America's Lakers podcast, I always have at jmohr.com a link for you to shop at Amazon, all your Amazon shopping, and email me at morestories3737 at gmail.com. And we'll get into the Sacramento Kings Clippers. It's a disaster. That's the word for those 2 losses is all the humanity.
It's not been good recently.
That's like the Led Zeppelin 1 album cover of the Hindenburg going up. It's bad.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have many fingers to point at anybody. My finger's getting longer and longer, and it's going towards an individual that I won't even say it until but you know who I mean.
I do.
Email me, morestories3737 at gmail.com. What you bought at Amazon when you go through my website. It doesn't cost you anything but the second click. Amazon wants to know where their traffic is coming from. Direct deposit to my son's college education. JJ has promised I made another purchase through the Amazon banner. This time I'm purchasing my wife several items for Christmas and her birthday on Christmas Eve. Some slippers, a couple of Echo Dots, and other treats. Hey, Yarb, you keep buying Echo Dots, you're not going to need the Amazon banner.
Well, I don't know. Do we hope now? Obviously, we like every single subscriber and listener that we can get, but do we hope that his wife is a listener, or are we going to ruin Christmas for
her? I think this is Christmas, but he didn't put her name. If you put her name, we could name check her.
Okay.
Chris, you might want to throw that in next time. Mrs. Yarb.
Right.
And Mrs. Yarborough, if you're listening right now, hang up. Too late.
Here's what you're getting.
Hey, all you guys with mothers, take one step forward. Johnson, hang tight. Old Flip Wilson joke. It wasn't much, but around $200 all in, I'm told. Thanksgiving looks like it was good and relaxing. I saw the fish that you caught. At this rate, I'm going to have to start leaving you quotes from the old men in the sea. I know you've been busy with your poetry, wrestling, LAP, and Lakers podcast, and of course your emerging driftwood sculpture business. You mean the world to me, and I'm thankful for your friendship. As always, I hope this finds you well. Please let me know if you'll be able to I'll keep it off the air. Yarb, the Yarb, funny dude from the old radio days.
Yeah.
The answer is no to that other question, buddy. My friends, Aaron Larsoul is with me. Analytics. Hey, Twicky, is he wrong? No. He's not. Clippers 120, Lakers 115, and earlier in the week, pre-Thanksgiving, Sacramento Kings 1,212, Lakers 1. That was a very odd game.
It was, and
Buddy Hield's teeth had 11 points from the free throw line.
I think he has like 11 teeth in each quadrant. Buddy Hield is
quadrant. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah, I want him to have 44 teeth.
Don't you see a pattern? Like every team, it seems the Lakers play, and of course I'm rounding up when I say every because nothing's that superlative. Just some middle-of-the-road or young dude or a middle-of-the-road guy or a guy you thought was past his prime just goes. Lou Williams had, 35, 40 tonight?
Yeah, I think he had close to his career high of 40.
No scout.
I think his career high is 44. I think he had 40 tonight.
I will say this in their defense, the Los Angeles Lakers, and we're recording this on a Monday night, whenever you get this, and I'll tell you this, the Lakers, and to their credit, they probably didn't have any film on Lou Williams.
Yeah, he's not been around. He hasn't been around the league or in Los Angeles ever.
Of course,
before.
they had film of Lou Williams. He was a Laker last
Did they,
year.
Christopher?
Yeah. Well, Walken, of course.
Yeah.
He was a Lakers. He was a Lakers.
42 for Sweet Lou.
42. Yeah. Lou, Sweet Lou.
And I believe he was 12 of 12 from the line, which we'll get into. That was as you like to harp on, that was a problem for the Lakers tonight.
A lot of problems for the Lakers tonight, and I don't think the biggest problems for the Lakers this past, I'll say 2 weeks, were necessarily the play of the guys on the floor. We established last week you want your best players, per Jeff Van Gundy's quote on the podcast that's not ours, you want your best players to play better more often.
Yeah, sometimes it is as simple as that.
They are. I told you this. The number one scorer on the Lakers is Kyle Kuzma, 17 a night. Number 2 is Jordan Clarkson. Number 4 is Julius Randle. If you go minutes played, it starts 4 and then it goes 7 and 8. So your best scorers are playing your 4th, 7th, and 8th most minutes. That's a problem, Aaron. Have you ever seen? You're an analytics guy.
Yes.
Have you ever seen that before?
No.
3 guys.
No is the answer to that. No, I mean, sometimes you'll get one guy like last year with Lou Williams on the Lakers,
Before that was
or Clarkson, where you get,
this
you
will
know,
be 3 years in a row,
your
the
big
leading
scorer
scorers
off
on
the
the bench.
Yeah.
That's 3 years in a row, one team is their leading scorer on the bench. Now, I know Luke Walton's forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know.
And you can lump me in there, too. He knows a hell of a lot more than I do.
And I know he's privy to the practices, and I know he sees behind closed doors. And maybe Julius Randle hanging his head bothered Luke Walton. Well, then that means Jordan Clarkson, in 3 consecutive games, mother-effing the head coach on national television, shouldn't see the floor. But that's what got David Fizdale fired.
Yes. I mean, the number one, we talked about this before, the number one, obviously you want all of your guys, your best guys, to play better more often. But the number one job for a coach is get along with and get the best out of your best guys. And in this case, I guess management in Memphis didn't think that David Fizdale was getting the best out of Marc Gasol by sitting him for the final 12 minutes of the game.
Well, that's 12 minutes versus the aggregate of 2015, 2016 this year. Mm-hmm. Marc Gasol was unconscious when they came to Staples Center. He didn't miss his first 6 shots, and they were from way downtown.
Marc Gasol is a good basketball player.
Great, I would say. He's a Hall of Famer. It's the International Hall of Fame, don't forget.
It's both, yeah, it's both. Pow definitely, Mark possibly. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't write it off.
So Fizdale deserved to be fired. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
All right, I'm going to tell you why the NBA players and the NBA Players Association needs to check themselves and dial it back a few million, because we're getting really out of control. You play basketball. As Jon Stewart said, it must be rough to get up at noon and shoot hoops for a living. Like, that's rough, man. Get up at noon and shoot hoops. That's your job. And then take a nap and then come back at 7. We're going to play the big show is on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little more to it than that, but...
Of course there is, but there's people listening to this right now sitting on the 405, like, punching themselves in their glutes because it's hot.
Like massage?
No, like frustration. I'm going to tell you why the players and the players union of the NBA have to, like, officially hit the brakes right after this. BetDSI.com, my friends, they've been in business for over 20 years, and they pay winners. That's why I like them. That's what's up. This is me talking. This isn't a recorded. Aaron, say hi.
What's happening?
Oh, okay. BetDSI.
I love BetDSI.
Big Mama.
Big Mama loves BetDSI, too. Oh. Big Mama's been winning some money with BetDSI, just like you, JJ.
I got my numbers. BetDSI.com, A+ rated on sportsbook review sites. That means every single one of them gives it an A+. Otherwise, you can't be an A+ unless you're perfect by paying the winners that you do. Sports knowledge, that's what they use to make you some extra cash. BetDSI offers odds on everything basketball, win totals, who will win the MVP, and a lot more. Aaron and I, of course, will not be doing any of that because we don't goof off, baby. The promo code for BetDSI is Lakers25 and get a $25 free. Well, if the promo code's Laker25, let's get in here.
Okay. I think we get right.
I was like laying off the whole thing. The promo code says Lakers.
We're doing it. We're in.
I mean, Norm Pattis is good for it. Podcast One Chief, right? Norm, you got us, right?
Norm always has us.
Let me tell you something. No, BetDSI, of all the sites I've tried pretty much every one you've ever heard me say, and I believed in every one until I went, no more, friend. I don't dig it. And this one, back from the Mohr Sports podcast days, the daily, this one's legit. Lakers 25, you get 20. That's the promo code to get $25 of a free wager right there. Just to register, they put $25 over there for you.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You will get a 200% bonus match on your money. BetDSI.com, BetDSI.com. The promo code is Lakers25 because it's for $25. Aaron Lysul.
Yes.
Let's circle to the Lakers right after this, but here's the little tease. Same pattern that I established with you here on America's Lakers podcast. Get out to a huge deficit early to a team that's not as good as you.
Yes.
Bring in the second unit. I feel like George Carlin these days. Second unit. It's the bench. It's the second unit. It's the bench. Because the moment Andrew Bogut comes in the game, and then Josh Hart comes in second, then Corey Brewer, guess what? Your starters are now mixed in with the second unit. I can't tell the Sneetches from the Starbelly.
Oh, the Starbelly Sneetches.
I can't tell the difference because sometimes, Aaron Larsoul, I see Lonzo Ball on the floor with one of those second unit guys, which makes him a de facto second unit.
Yeah, I
Kyle
think
Kuzma and Randall and Nance and Zoe and everybody. What is this?
I think Luke, to be frank with you, I think Luke is still kind of searching. At this point, the rotations should be locked in, and one injury to Larry Nance shouldn't gum that up. But I think Luke should have it dialed in. He should have it figured out now what guys are in for what scenarios. The one thing I will give him credit, the Bogut thing today was a little weird, Bogut coming in, but Brook Lopez, who's been terrible the last 3 games, got 2 fouls early and had to go out. My guess on why Bogut played today when Brook came in instead of putting Randall in is because I think he knows the history of Bogut with DeAndre Jordan and with Blake Griffin going back to Golden State and how he was such an aggravator to those 2 guys specifically. So I think he was trying to get it because DeAndre had it going early, catching lobs, specifically from Blake. I'm guessing he was trying to agitate and get in the head of DeAndre and Blake Griffin. That's my guess.
He changed his mind in 5 minutes.
Yeah, because it wasn't working. But who it was, KCP was hot, and it was really the lineup that it was Hart, KCP, Clarkson, Kuz, and Randall that finished the first and took the lead.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, I mean,
and KCP was roasting.
Yeah, he had 16 points in the first
6
quarter.
of 10.
20 at the half. There's one name that's always mentioned, and I feel like we're beating a dead horse. It's Julius Randle.
Yeah, I mean, he's the
If I'm Julius Randle, okay.
He's the Lakers' best player. I mean, we say this all the time, but he's the Lakers' best player.
And he's the pariah. Like, he's the one people lambast on social media, and obviously you and I don't give a rat's whip about social media, but it shows you, like, what the mob mentality, like, Randall got torched by Joel Embiid. Get him off the floor. He has no business guarding Joel Embiid.
No, and it's not the problem, but one of the downsides. Hey,
Steph, do me a favor. Go on. Like, Draymond's the only guy. Sorry,
right, that's what. Yeah, I mean, one of the downsides of you've called it the Sepulveda lineup in trying to emulate that Warriors thing is you need. That's why Draymond is unique. Draymond's a 6'7" guy, kind of similar to Randall in body type, but he can guard Joel Embiid. He can guard point guards. And it's asking a lot for anybody to do that. Julius Randle, the best thing a coach can do is play to the strength of his players. And asking Julius Randle to guard Joel Embiid is not playing to his strength.
David Fizdale fired a Memphis Grizzlies head coach.
Yeah, J.B. Bickerstaff, the interim coach. He was the associate head coach or the assistant head coach. I never know what that
Houston,
means,
right?
but he was in Memphis, and then in Houston he took over for Kevin McHale when he was fired. I think it was like 11 games in.
So Kevin McHale was fired, and then
for not getting along with James Harden and Dwight Howard in those days.
And Dwight Howard, we know, doesn't get along with anybody. Correct. As Cat Williams says, if people say stuff about you for 20 years, it's true.
Probably true.
So Kevin McHale was called out by, this ties to my tease, James Harden for not being a leader. It's Kevin McHale. I'm pretty sure he's a leader, period.
Yeah, I mean, he was saying that Harden was not a leader, and then Harden went back at him about the same. Right, basically saying
You're
this.
not a leader,
exactly.
dude. And we all went, oh, my God, guess what?
I love it when grown men fight on social media.
You had a great tweet about that, I remember, about that. It was that. So then, all right, so J.B. Bickerstaff was the interim coach for Kevin McHale, and now is the interim coach for David Fizdale. His dad, Bernie Bickerstaff, was an interim coach, I think, twice. So, has there been a more successful interim coach family than the Bickerstaffs?
I know JB a little bit. JB's a really good dude, but what's funny, he felt very loyal to McHale, and I'm sure feels very loyal to Fizdale. He didn't want to take the Houston job. And you
don't get a raise.
And I would doubt he wanted to take this job, but there's only 30 of them. So when the chance comes along, you take it.
It seems like guys that take that interim title, they label themselves that, and they don't seem to.
And they very rarely get to keep the job permanently.
Yeah, and sometimes they earn it. Like Bickerstaff earned it a couple times, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good. He turned the Houston season around after McHale left.
I meant Bernie. Bernie, I thought was a good interim a couple times. Lakers interim. He was the Lakers interim coach. Mm-hmm. And he was the interim coach, Bernie Bickerstaff. I don't think I was going to talk about Bernie and J.B. Bickerstaff. As long as we want. I mean, when are you going to talk about the head coach of the St. Louis Swarm? Back off, fella. What do you think about that? I mean, come on, you go 4-1 as Laker head coach. Maybe you can hang around a little bit.
I
Can you imagine going, if Luke Walton was 4-1, he'd be on Mount Rushmore tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to build one.
This is a town of way ups and way downs, baby.
Yes. I want to hear about your what the Players Association needs to do.
They need to take themselves a little less seriously, and at some point, Aaron Lysoul, and I know I'm talking primarily 90% about African American males. You being an African American male, I'm going to say it from my consider the source as I touch my heart.
Sure.
At some point, you got to realize you are an employee. No matter if you're LeBron, you're Doug McDermott, if you're Steve Novak someplace in a two-way contract, I can't have Dwayne Wade tweeting, let me look into this. That's not fair. I can't have who did tweet that? Yeah. LeBron James said, let me look at this. It seems like they needed a fall guy. This is the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies. Your team is garbage. Dwayne Wade is like, oh, I'll come off the bench, get you 16, but don't start me because it's weird. Jose Calderon started for the Cavs.
Yeah, he started tonight.
And they won by like 15.
Yeah, he started tonight.
So they won by so much that these guys were able to tweet about David Fizdale.
You know what my favorite thing about Calderon is? I watched, it was Cleveland and Philly today. My favorite part about Jose Calderon starting is he started it and they got up so much they put the garbage time, the scrub lineup back in. Calderon started and was in the scrub lineup for the Cavs.
So he's a first unit and a second unit and a last unit and a scrub unit guy.
Yeah.
So does he know that?
Because Derrick Rose, who would be their other point guard, I don't know what he got climbed a mountain somewhere.
It got tragic quick with Derrick Rose. We should really talk about that, actually.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's going to. I mean, he left the Knicks last year and he's left to go find himself. I don't think he's walking away from the $80 million Adidas owes him, though.
I'm pretty sure at the Knicks he actually went to visit his mom and he didn't tell anybody, or the people that he did tell. This is what happened. Derrick Rose, and by the way, Derrick Rose did not tweet about David Fizdale.
No.
But these players that are tweeting about a guy that got fired.
They loved him. He was an assistant in Miami with Bolster when they were there, and they loved him, yeah.
But, hey, we lost 8 in a row. I don't think I said to you at the game, God, he's a good coach, man.
He is a good coach.
And
the ownership there they run through coaches in Memphis. The ownership there is,
and
I think they've had 4.
You don't let go.
I
That's
agree.
The guy that'll go to UConn women's, or he'll be the next, or wherever he'll be like an Oriama. He'll be like
Gino Oriama, yeah.
He'll be one of those guys. He'll be the guy after the guy who was after the guy.
The other thing that people don't realize, and that's a fan thing, that you always want the coach fired.
James Franklin.
You always blame the coach, right? But that's fine. If you want to get rid of the coach, fine. But who are you bringing in that's better? You have to have an idea of somebody else.
Bickerstaff. There's only one name you call, friends, when you need an interim coach. It's the Bickerstaffs.
In fact,
whether it's Bernie or JB.
Nobody should hire JB Bickerstaff because it means you're getting fired and he's going to be the interim coach.
That's hilarious. Hey, we just picked up this guy to run the D. Who's that? That looks like... Oh, my... Are you guys kidding me? Are you going to tell me I'm going to lose my job to JB? Derrick Rose told Knicks management that he had to go see his mom. There was a thing.
Okay.
A family.
Like a health thing? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
Just
a thing.
Maybe I do. I don't know. But families, one of those, I would text you bro, go. You're out. I got you.
Yeah, right.
It was one of those moments. And they never shared it with the media. So everyone's like, this guy's crazy.
Oh, so they're looking at
he just
Derrick.
went to go smoke dope or something.
Right.
He's in a parking lot underneath the Wiz in Penn Station just smoking rocks. And he went to go see his mom.
Hopefully he's going to Germany to get plasma injections.
Might as well.
Yeah.
He literally took a sick day to tend to family issues.
Good.
That's all the Knicks had to say. That was a kooky place.
Yeah, they could have given him a little cover for that.
The inmates running the asylum is the expression I won't use, but that's the one people usually use. But these days I'm not really sure because there's on the fence words, and I'm not going to be a part of it with the seal that we got. But it's players, you're unionized for a reason. You have a union because you're not in charge.
No.
But you are entirely in charge. That means you drive the prices up, which is fine. I don't begrudge them all that money. They deserve every penny of it.
Go get what you can get.
Very finite. There's only how many Tom Cruises? 1. How many Bronze? 1. Stephs? Make that money, dude. But when a guy gets fired and you're telling America, quote, and the world, let me look into this. When you are dictating where you play, when you go, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go play for that team over there. And then that team gets popped for tampering. When you're the knucklehead that said, I want to play for that team,
Well, you know what's weird to me is them.
I believe I just said, man.
You did. What's weird to me is LeBron and Dwayne kind of elevating their own status in this.
Well, no, one of them elevated their status. I think Wade elevated their status. I think LeBron is status quo, and that is Grand Poobah of everything.
I mean, I don't mind them sending out tweets in support of
bad,
Fizdale,
man.
like, hey, we love Coach Fizz, whatever, but
Just pour some out.
I'll
man.
look into it, and then what?
Yeah, I'm still waiting. Like, can we leave tonight? Or do we hang out for Dwayne Wade to give us the update on why it all went down? We all know when it went down. Because they were on an 8-game win streak without Conley. By the way, he's been hurt. This is 2 years in a row. This is a real significant time he's missing. And Marc Gasol was the guy that was the fall guy. LeBron got it right. He was the fall guy.
Yeah, the fall guy, yeah.
Because the only thing you control when you have superstars is the minutes. So he sits his best player down because I'm going to guess for Mr. Fizdale, because I'm not a guesser, I'm not an assumption guy, but I do know this works often.
You're Mr. Connect 2 dots.
The guys that are not as good as Marc Gasol go, I'm not going to stop running because look who's on the bench.
Yeah,
wow, he's really mad.
There's some reports out there that Fizdale and Gasol had some differences going back to training camp, so maybe this is connected.
No, they just definitely did not get along. So, and that proof of that being a terrible relationship, Marc Gasol absolutely curb stomped David Fizdale after that game. I don't know why I was on the bench. To say I'm upset, to say I'm pissed, is an understatement. I'm outraged, and I don't know why I would be. You were benched because I felt like benching your big 7-foot Spanish ass. I would have come in like Van Gundy did on Dwight Howard.
And he's been. I mean, let's be honest. Gasol's a really good player, but he's been pretty bad recently.
I haven't noticed. I mean, I'm not really watching Grizzlies games. You do watch every game
yeah.
because you're a damn oracle of all things. How bad?
That's a nice word for it.
How bad was he?
He's been so bad that
he's
been so bad that Nikola Jokic just gave him bucket after bucket and physically backed him down. I mean, Jokic is really good.
Jokic gets buckets, but I mean, Marc
not
Gasol
just
shuts
in
dudes
the
down.
post, backing him down like a little kid, bodying him. Like Gasol has looked off for a little while.
Aaron,
Yes.
we got America's Lakers podcast mailbag, which you and I actually really like.
We do.
The Lakers get absolutely steamrolled by the Sacramento Kings. Then they have a nice long, 5-6 days off.
Yeah, 4 days off. Yeah,
four. That's cool. And then they go play the Clippers in Staples. The red floor I could probably live with. Sitting on a different bench would give me fits. I'd come off the bench and run right into the stands. I think I'm down there usually.
And you know what I'm not sure about, and we'll have to ask. Maybe you know the answer to this, or we'll ask the people that we can ask about this.
Come back.
Do they have no comment? Do they have their own locker room, or is there a home and a visitor's locker room, and the Lakers have to go to the visitor's locker room?
Well, no, there's no way the Lakers.
Or there's
leave.
a Lakers locker room and a Clippers locker room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way the Lakers are going to give up their lockers because then, imagine Mark McGuire had to give up his locker when he was with the Cardinals. No. There's personal stuff in there, man. I don't know why I just compared. I could have just said what I said.
Yeah, Mark McGuire.
Marc Gasol in his career 15 a night, and this year he's got 19 a night. So,
yeah,
he said he's playing terribly.
Oh, just recently over the last week, 10 days.
Don't make me do game logs, man, because we'll be here all night. I believe you. How's that? Listen to this word from our sponsors, and we're going to tell you why the Lakers are losing very succinctly next.
Podcast One has new shows on our new app. Check out all the cool features to help you explore our exciting new programming, like America's Lakers Podcast with Jay Mohr, Sessions with Randy Jackson, So Random with Corinne Olympios, Attack Each Day, The Harbaugh's Podcast, Not Just Sports with Susie Schuster and Rich Eisen, and Sound of Success, The Dick Enberg Podcast, as well as your old favorites like The Lady Gang, Steve Austin, Shaquille O'Neal, and Adam Carolla. Get the new Podcast One app in the App Store, Google Play, or podcastone.com.
At Covered California, we're not just here to help you get health insurance. We're here to help you get it at a lower cost. 9 out of 10 enrollees qualified for financial help paying for their plan. You may qualify for savings even if you didn't last year. So check for yourself. Or let our experts help you find out how much you could save. Life can change in an instant. Be covered when it does. Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com today. Enroll by December 15th.
Podcast One is your home for the biggest names in pro wrestling. We've got the Animal, Dave Bautista, with Jim Ross on the Ross Report.
I don't want to do a one-off. I want to go and I want to wrestle. I want to be a part of the program, and I love it.
The longest reigning WWE Divas champion, Nikki Bella, with Lillian Garcia.
There's that excitement, and when you have a great match, you're like, oh my God. That's how you feel when you have a great dance with someone.
Hard-hitting wrestling journalism with Wade Keller.
Find out not just what's happening, but also decoding why it's happening and whether it's good for fans and the bottom line.
And the unfiltered and unpredictable thoughts of Vince Russo.
They dictate to us what is considered big time.
Get all these podcasts and more exclusively on the new Podcast One app, podcastone.com, and on Apple Podcasts.
America's Lakers podcast. Aaron Larsoul with me. I'm Jay Mohr, at JMohr37, at Aaron Larsoul, at Fry42.
Can you sing again? I like it when you do Fry. Yeah, I like that.
Sorry, Twiggy. The Lakers lose to the Clippers. Now, this is the Clippers, man. We're talking about Clippers, man. How silly is that, man? Clippers 120-115. A rare exception to Lawler's Law. First team to 100 wins.
Right, not today.
Lakers like 103-98. We're like, here we go. I looked at you. I said, my man, we are like steady mobbing right now. Ingram was hitting. Somebody had...
KCP had heated back up from the first quarter.
Yeah, and Kuzma threw a dime into the paint from the three, and it was really like a spooky good pass. Like, man, why shoot for 33% when that guy could shoot it for about 80?
One of the things, I mean, there was a couple problems. You were going to say succinctly why the Lakers
That's
lost.
my reason, period.
I know you always talk about the free throws, right? You harp on the free throws.
Oh, no, I have.
Which was a reason today, but the Lakers bench beat the Clippers bench 52-20 today. That's probably in connection with Kuzma going back to the bench.
Second unit. Who else says second unit? As often, it's like...
There's like a negative connotation to bench because it sounds like you got benched.
Well, they did. Jordan Clarkson's numbers have stayed the same from when he used to play as a starter, and he hadn't complained. Now we're going on year 2 of this thing, and Jordan Clarkson, 3 games in a row, came off the floor. Why did he? He was hot, dude. His shots, you knew they were going in. They were perfect shots. And he missed a couple.
He was. I was going to say Kuzma. Clarkson was really good tonight, and Clarkson does what he does. He did what he does tonight. What was actually really interesting to me is the second unit, or bench, if you want to call it, the unit that ended the first quarter with KCP and then started the second quarter.
Well, then they can't be the second unit because that makes KCP a second unit guy. The bench came in and helped. That you just came off the bench.
But what was very impressive to me is how well they were moving the ball, and that kind of slowed down, unfortunately, when Lonzo came back in. It looked like a lot of guys were kind of waiting for Lonzo to make a play for them. But without Lonzo, with the second unit in to end the first and then start the second, Corey Brewer came in for KCP. The ball was whipping around, and as you were talking about, Kuzma, who's now a second unit guy, now a bench guy.
Your leading scorer.
Yeah.
The best, brightest surprise of the season goes to the bench because Larry Nance came back. Larry Nance Jr., man. It's not Charles Barkley. It's not Carl Mailman Malone. It's Larry Nance Jr. 9 and 9 tonight, man.
I think if you were to ask Luke what he would tell you, and
I already know what he's going to tell me.
And Mike Trudell talked about this briefly on the Lakers broadcast on TV this evening, was that he thought that the starting unit, you've been talking about how poorly the starting unit has been doing at the beginning of games. He thought that the energy and effort and intensity, defensive intensity, and little glue things that Larry Nance does well, he thought that was getting away from the starters somewhat and contributing to those slow starts you were talking about.
Well, that's I believe him that he thought that. But I think at some point you got to know when to walk away from the easel and say that's the painting. This is the painting. You can just keep moving stuff around. Eventually you lose all the color entirely, and it's just a big gloppy gray blob. The Lakers' defense is 3 times as good as it was last year. It's remarkably.
The Lakers' defense has been really good so far.
Statistically, in every statistical category.
Been really good so far.
Per 36 minutes, per 100 possessions, each guy's individual ratings. They bring in guys like it's the no-fly zone down there in the paint with Brook Lopez, and Randall's keeping Embiid out. I know he got killed by Embiid, but that's his job. Is to go out and guard. He didn't foul out somehow.
Yeah, I mean, look, Embiid's one of the best players in the league for a reason.
Wow.
He's an amazing offensive talent, and he's going to do that to you.
So I just keep seeing this same thing, and I think Luke, my opinion is, great artist, know when to stop painting. And to keep, all right, tell me your starting five for the Los Angeles Lakers, Aaron. Point guard?
If I was coaching?
Right now. I got a game right after we clean the floor of the confetti from the Clippers.
Lonzo, KCP.
You're going to start Zoe over Jason. Okay.
Lonzo, KCP, Ingram, Randall.
I'm writing them at the same time as you. Okay. So then we got Randall at the 4, and then we have
Lopez.
Brooks. I know.
And my first guy
is
Clarkson is my first guy off the bench.
Okay.
And he's coming in for Lonzo very quickly. If Lonzo's, I mean, you know what's interesting is you can kind of tell with Lonzo's aggressiveness early. You can kind of tell where Lonzo is early in games due to his aggressiveness. Not whether the shot's going in specifically or not, but due to his aggressiveness. And if he's not being aggressive, Clarkson comes in for him quickly.
I haven't really noticed a difference at all, and I don't really have that many problems, except for the three-pointers in a close game. Like, I want him to go in.
Of course.
But maybe just be the guy. Just have 15 assists. Be Ricky Rubio and get out of there.
The problem is if you're hesitant to shoot,
then don't shoot.
But the problem is if you're hesitant to shoot, those passing lanes shrink because guys just won't guard you.
That's why you were the NCAA assist leader, my man. Clarkson comes in for either guard.
Yeah.
Most likely Zoe. Your second guy off the bench?
My second guy off the bench is probably Nance in this case.
Oh, wow. I completely forgot about Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah, it's probably Nance in this case, and you can depending on how it's going, he can come in at 4 or 5.
Yeah, it seems like. Go ahead.
Yeah, you want the rest of the rest of the bench unit? I think I would actually tighten up the.
When you do it this way, the actual way that people do it, like here's my starting 5, my first guy off the bench, and then this guy. There's way too many forwards here.
Like, yeah, I mean we knew that going in too. Yeah,
but it's even when you do it your and my way, and not the start Randall with the second unit, and Kuz goes out because if you just go, hey, I'm gonna start Ingram and Randall, and then I got Clarkson off the bench, then I got Nance, and then I'm gonna put in. Oh wow, I still got 2 guys. One's got 17 a night. He hasn't hit the floor yet.
Yeah, Kuz. Yeah,
you're just as bad as that Walton fella.
I am, but this is. I mean, it's the blessing and the curse of the Lakers. The Lakers are. You know, they're sort of bereft is not the right word, but they don't have the superstar talent yet. But they have a lot of good NBA players. They're much deeper. Like, for example, they're much deeper than the Clippers tonight. But the Clippers have Blake Griffin, who got hurt at the end, and DeAndre Jordan.
Lou Williams
was a superstar tonight.
You ain't got to be deep if one guy just does all the scoring.
No, you don't.
So Clarkson, then Nance, and then you got Kuz and Randall. So I guess you put Randall in for Brooke. Kuz goes in for.
Kuz can play either Randall or Ingram. Kuz can play 3 or 4,
and I'll put
depending
Kuz
on
at
matchups.
2 and say impress me or go home.
Yeah, I mean Kuzma can play 2
I
also.
think he's all right, and Randall goes 3 to 5. I think Kuz goes 4 to 2.
Randall's ball skills. Randall's needs to. I would be scared to play Randall at 3. He needs to improve the ball skills a little bit.
I only meant on D. You're right. Is this a situation of a guy not knowing when to walk away from the easel? It's like, why? What is all this tinkering? These are my starters?
Yeah. Well, I think that yes is the answer to your question, but in Luke's defense, as I just mentioned, I mean, this is not a team of, this is not he doesn't have all the paint he may have shortly to work with. So I think
But he's holding paint, but he's got a lot of paint.
The Lakers have good players.
My man, I need you to paint that house for me like I asked.
Sure.
I know, but if you just wait,
right,
I'll have better paint to paint your house.
My guess is Luke is a little frustrated trying to come up with combinations that are working better than the ones are working now.
We haven't done this combination. The one that people do.
Yeah.
You're 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 4, you're 5. Your first guy off the bench is Clarkson. Then you're going to bring in Nance. Nance off the bench is,
I would guess fans out there would say sit KCP and start Zoe, Ingram at the 2, and Kuz at the 3. That would be my guess.
I think Zoe's got to go as the big thing from the fans, and I think Randall trade his ass. He's so terrible he couldn't stop Joel Embiid, and he couldn't stop Blake Griffin. Like Blake Griffin's one of the better. He's top 5 power forward. Sorry,
Blake Griffin's a great offensive player.
Yeah, I'm as Marv Levy once told me, when you listen to the fans, you wind up sitting next to them.
Yes.
And I don't want to sit next to them in this scenario. All right, Lakers mailbag right now. And by the way, Lakers got some games coming up that I think it'll get a little worse before it gets better.
The schedule gets dicey.
I'm going to tell you this, though. I'd be very happy if I was Jeannie Buss, the Buss family, if I was Rob Pelinka, Magic Johnson, if I look at a spreadsheet of data of assets and I look at KCP, Ingram, Randall, Brooke, Zoe, Clarkson, Nance, Kuz. This is an embarrassment of riches. You have 8 really goods. We didn't mention Brewer, that nobody seems to realize is actually probably the guy that nobody realizes his value.
Yeah.
And you and I just see it the actual way, and that's he's a wing defender, and he won't kill you.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that really good teams need.
Expiring contracts, the way this has been constructed, this was the byproduct of something none of us saw coming. Like, hey, we all got expiring contracts. There's human beings attached to them, and they're like, yeah, I thought maybe I could come for 4 years. Right. I really like it here.
Right.
Nope, enjoy the beach, got to go. Out the door, I got somebody better than you coming in.
Hopefully.
That's the thing. Bird in the hand, we're two in the bush. Yeah. Here's the mailbag. It's America's Lakers podcast, and I tweeted out for you guys to get after it. Happy Go Lakers Talk is my new follow. I like this guy.
Yeah,
I follow him.
Yeah.
Big happy face emoji for his what do you call that thing?
An avatar.
Thank you. What is the Lakers' main Achilles heel? Slow starts, free throws, turnovers, other. For me, it's a toss-up between free throws and slow starts. Being down big after the first quarter. If I had to choose one, it's slow starts. Every win this year came after leading after the first quarter. That's actually no, he's right. I think slow starts is indicative of what you and I are kind of pecking around, and that's the rotations. Your best players aren't starting the game. Your best player statistically is Julius Randle, percentage-wise, and your highest scorer is Kyle Kuzma. They were both on the bench. Jordan Clarkson is your second best scorer. He's coming off the bench. I don't know what to tell you. Your 3 best players are coming off the bench. I'll put Ingram way up there.
I have a simpler answer. The Lakers' Achilles heel, and we talked about this in the first episode of America's Lakers podcast.
And the Family Guy, too. With the first episode of the Family Guy, they talked about this.
Yeah, we did. The Lakers can't shoot. I mean, we call a spade on this podcast. The Lakers are 30th in three-point percentage. They are 30th in free throw percentage. The Lakers can't shoot. And the defense has been really good. The rebounding has been fine. The turnovers are getting better. The turnovers were a problem early, but have improved. The Lakers can't shoot.
The Lakers can't. I've never disagreed with you.
Or haven't shot yet.
The shots are good looks. They haven't fallen. Yes. But then the guys that shoot well get taken off the floor. Yeah.
Team-wide, the Lakers are 30th in three-point percentage and 30th in free throw percentage.
That's correct. I'm going to say this. When you construct a team with a guy whose shot's broken.
Yep.
And I'm all in on Pelinka. I think he's done a wonderful job. I think this is one of the best drafts they've ever had. KCP was brought in on a 1-year deal. He's the guy that you can rely on. Like, none of these guys are every team's got 4 guys. They can just get you buckets from 24 feet.
And I, heard Rob talking about that, and he said that it's something that they're paying attention to. Obviously, you want the internal development, the guys in-house to shoot better, but some of it is you have your eye on guys that can shoot. And I know that Magic and Rob Pelinka are aware of that deficiency.
Well, that's why KCP was brought in, perimeter defense.
Yeah.
And he could shoot the 3. But I remember back when it was happening in summertime, I guess, whatever, it was like 33%, 34%. It's not. And when Rob Pelinka,
it's kind of like
I aired out Pelinka on Mohr Sports, I said, yeah, he's manna from heaven because to enjoy it, you have to be starving. It's bread in the desert. This guy's manna from heaven. Like, yeah, if I was in the desert and starving and bread fell from the Saharan sky, I'd be like, you know what? It's great. Never mind.
So KCP's bread now?
He's bread.
What are we talking like Cheesecake Factory bread?
No,
I
dig him as bread because he's money.
Like, there you go.
He's
I like
pretty
that.
damn reliable.
He was great tonight.
I haven't seen him in a bad game, really.
Oh, he kept him afloat tonight. He was great. Ryan Reedman wants to know in our
mailbag,
Ask ALP Lakers mailbag here, is there much you see with the current roster that time experience isn't going to fix? Even without a superstar showing up, it seems like they're on the right path, and I dig it. I will agree that the Lakers are on the right path. And as we have seen throughout the NBA, time and experience are the best teachers. And look at Brandon Ingram now compared to last year.
How about the beginning of this year? I was going
absolutely.
crazy.
So, look, there's no reason to – Lonzo has found a way to impact basketball games positively even though he can't shoot.
Oddly, the one – real quick.
Yeah.
Oddly, the one I thought he was least impactful was his first triple-double.
Oh, yeah, in
like
Milwaukee.
10, 11, and 10.
Yeah.
You're like, that was kind of – really? He had triple-double?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I think, look, the teams win in the NBA because of superstars. Teams that win big have the best players in the league. So you get superstars when you can. But I think there is a lot of room for growth for the Lakers with time and development. There are guys, Jason Kidd, who Lonzo gets compared to frequently, was called Asen when he got in the league because he had no J. And I think he's 5th or 6th all-time in three-pointers made. So he developed a jump shot. Gary Harris.
What is he on all threes?
I believe he's like 5th or 6th all-time in threes made.
Wow. I still don't know him as hitting
right.
a three-pointer.
Right. And Gary Harris in Denver was a terrible shooter his rookie year and has steadily improved, and now he's a really good shooter. So there are stories of guys that have improved their shooting. And rookies are notoriously bad. Rookies just generally are bad NBA basketball players. So, especially with a team this young
so
and
your
this
answer
talented,
is he should keep looking up because I agree.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan that the Lakers are on the right path. Look, if you can get superstars, you get them. But I
can't affect the way these guys play at the idea of a superstar.
I agree.
They're not here.
I agree with that.
And you can't chase. I tell my son, don't chase those kids because every time they see you, they're going to start running away because you're chasing them. The United States of America, Aaron, first flag was a snake saying, don't tread on me. Don't you bother me because I bite. We just wanted to farm. When King George was losing, this will have a point, the Revolutionary War, it was done. It was over.
Can we do history time on America's Lakers podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to mix this in. Okay.
King George knew the Revolutionary War was over. The colonies were lost. He was having his portrait painted, and the portrait guy, King George, asks him, what do you think George Washington will do now that the war's over? And the portrait guy didn't know what to say but the truth. So he took like a couple minutes, and then an hour goes by, and he goes, I think he's going to go back to Virginia and farm. And King George goes, that would make him the most powerful man in the world. Because there was nothing else to conquer. Like, the Brits were all over. They were in Africa. They were in Asia. They were in the colonies.
Spread thin, yeah.
Land of the never, the Japanese, forgive me, never setting sun, always rising sun. The Japanese.
Oh, the land. Yeah.
Yeah, like they were all over the globe. They just kept circling it. And George Washington and those guys were like, all right, you're going to leave us alone? All right, this turnip looks ready. You guys want some dinner? Like, that would make them the most. So we were counterpunchers, right? Yeah. That's what the Lakers need to be. You got to be proactive, but you can't be lunging across the ring like the United States is now, sticking your nose. And this is not political. You look at the Revolutionary War. You look at World War II, like, whoa. And then we get in and we just clean house. And now we're just drunks in a bar, like, hey, what do you want to do? I don't like the way you're dressed. Try on my clothes. Lakers are like, we know they're lurking. You don't think LeBron and Paul George are going, I'll call him back, bro. I can't right now. They just keep calling. What does she want, dude?
Well, of course, the Lakers aren't calling presently because that would be in violation of league rules. So, of course, it's not happening presently. But, yeah, no, that's a
but
really
when
good...
that call comes in, it's like, put it at the end of the line because I already know I got that. And then when that Houston calls, you go, whoa, Houston? How? Or San Antonio, how did they make room? So you got to win with these guys that are here. And there has to be, and this is not the fault of the construct. I didn't see it coming. You didn't see it coming. They certainly didn't see it coming because they would have addressed it because they got great minds. If Jordan Clarkson, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Brandon Ingram, if Julius Randle and Clarkson were under contract, if KCP and Julius Randle were under contract through 2019,
okay,
at like a Clarkson-esque rate.
Sure, 12.
12 each. Like Randle next year for 12, the year after for 12, Clarkson across. Then there's like an option. It's one max. Let's figure out a way to get a pick. Bye, Brooke. Then this team suddenly starts winning games. If I got KCP for 3 more years, if Randall's in house for a few more years, if I know that these guys aren't going anywhere, I think that in itself expedites winning. Do you agree? Deal.
I deal. No, I do think, yes. I mean, I think the Lakers management is in a tough spot here because what you're saying is true. But on the other hand, they kind of are having to lurk between two worlds. On the other hand, in the NBA, you go get superstars when you can. So you want to be prepared for those options.
But you can't get them now.
Correct.
You have to play to win the game.
Correct. But you have to prepare because of the salary cap, you have to prepare your books to have the option.
Right. And there's another way to prepare for that superstar. In case you have to trade for that superstar, Aaron Larsoul, Lakers, cover your ears right now, I'm telling you, because we might lose this podcast right now.
Uh-oh.
If you have to trade for a superstar, I'm going to have a lot of kooky different rotations so that every 29 team in the league gets a look, even at Andrew Bogut, for no reason. You want to see what Corey Brewer? He's still got some hops. Watch that.
Yeah,
He's got a dunk. Watch this. There's no other explanation that's logical for the amount of guys going on the floor other than
showing off for
take
other
a look,
teams,
everybody. We got the best cards in the lot.
Or, yes, that is
I never even thought Corey Brewer would be useful to us.
That's a reasonable thought. Or
Josh Hart.
Or Luke Walton just hasn't figured out something that
that's
has worked yet.
impossible, and you know it. It's impossible that a guy like Luke Walton doesn't know who he wants to play. And
I think he knows who he wants to play, but I don't think he's satisfied with how well the guys he wants out there have worked together yet.
Who do you think he's not? And by the way, I think Luke's in a tough spot. And I think Pelinka and Magic and Genie and they went from 0 alternatives to playing it so perfectly.
Yeah.
They have too many. Right. I saw an article about 2019, the option if they just decide to carry the money. I'm like, my head can't work that much. Like 2019. Yeah, because then you get these guys. I got these guys.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. There's something to be said for dance with who brung you and try to win now. And especially because this is not a year where the Lakers' first-round pick is going elsewhere. So this is not a team that, long-term does better by losing some more. None of that is here.
Yeah,
this is a team that needs to win as many games as possible right now.
And they should be. I saw a tweet that said Luke has coaching has cost. I want your opinion on this over-under because I thought it might have been right on. Coaching has cost. I need this said emphatically. I think Luke Walton is a very good basketball coach. Impressed the hell out of me in Golden State. Effortlessly and with a plum surrendered like 43-2 or 4. And gave Steve Kerr all those wins when Steve Kerr was recovering from his back surgery. I think Luke is a really good coach. Not good. I think he's really good, and I think he could be great. But at some point, what makes the greats great is they go, everybody stop talking. I'm going to coach with these guys now.
Yeah.
I can't put in Josh Hart second off the bench. I can't start Luol Deng and then a DNP for the next 19 games. That's because Luke's going to be the guy that suffers for this. And I don't think that's fair. And I think it's not anybody's fault, but just everything went their way.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones, good problem to have. Kuzma specifically, that's the one. Kuzma being as good as he is, as quickly as he is the one where it kind of makes the rotations jumbled around. That wasn't planned for.
You're a genius. Because if Kuzma is a 27th pick and plays like a 27th pick,
if he's shuttled back and forth between the
there's
G
no
League,
logjam.
Right?
You know. Thank you for playing Mailbag, Ryan Reedman, and what's the name of my man's podcast? Here at Happy Go Lakers Talk, and that of course is at Kurt_Happy Laker. What are those?
That
Kurt
rolls
Rambis.
Right off the tongue there.
Kurt Rambis just in a hotel in New York. Like, oh, okay, I'm back. I love Kurt Rambis. Odd rotations, no free throws, very odd. And the Lakers bench had 52 points. Are you up, Stevens?
Okay.
Max, 52 points.
I got to be Kellerman now?
No.
Oh.
No, 52 points is that's usually like the team's all like this is the greatest bench we've ever had.
And part of that is bench. Part of that is Kuz going back to the second unit or bench or the guys that sit next to the coach when the game starts, whatever you want to call it.
This is you nailed it. Like I'm done here. If Kuzma played like a 27th pick, hey, see you in the G League, fella.
Right.
Or we'll trade him.
Right, if he was Thomas Bryant, who had a great game for the South Bay Lakers tonight in the G League.
What's up, Joey Boss?
If he was
Love that logo, dude. Seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
If he was playing like that, then you're right. You know, the minute distribution probably gets less kooky, to use your word.
I don't think it affected his play really.
No,
I mean he didn't have a great night. For him.
Kuz is one of those. You know, Kuz not on defense. He's a mess on defense, but offensively,
your mess is a little harsh.
Kuz is Kuz, right? He knows what he can do. He stays within himself. He plays his game. So I think he's one of those guys. He wants his minutes, but I don't think he cares if he starts, if he comes off the bench. He's just coming in to get buckets.
You start in L.A. and people in L.A. Kuz.
Yeah, MVP. And
I don't know a dude that doesn't get to, and I mean that in a very positive, constructive. It's good for him to feel that way because he's a late pick. That's badass. He earned it.
Yeah,
he's not like Reggie Jackson from start to finish.
He's been the best.
I meant the baseball player.
Yeah.
You're like
not the dude who looks like the captain from the Tom Hanks movie, Reggie Jackson, who was. Yeah, exactly. Not the Reggie Jackson who has made two organizations furious at him and want him out. Not that guy.
No, that one.
Oh, that's a baseball one too. I guess they're both.
Orioles.
There's something with the name.
3, 4. Orioles,
Angels, A's,
Yankees, fist fighting Billy Martin in the dugout. Those are the good old days, man. Where two guys could just duke it out right then and there, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back to.
Imagine if Luol Deng was in uniform, the logjam. Imagine if Luol Deng at 12 a night. It's like it's all forwards.
Yeah,
that
we knew going in. That
was
fine. That was a little bit of a mistake in roster construction. That we knew going in, and then Kuz exacerbates that because he's a 3-4.
I'm going to tell everybody listening this. If you're a Lakers fan, fly the flag. Don't fly this flag when we're in the playoffs next year like, that's my team, dude.
And let's say, look, the playoffs are still in play this year.
Yeah, I mean, they are actually right there.
They're a game out. So the playoffs are in play.
I was projecting.
Okay.
Hey, look.
I think it's unlikely, but it's way too early to blow that up.
My 500 is looking good right now for the 8 seed. Might look good for the 7 seed right now. And Terry Stotts' lineup Monday night was pretty badass. Pulls a guard up by the bootstraps.
Yeah, Pat Connaughton and Gergic.
And
he had 17 tonight.
Playing center and a 4, playing the 5, and Aaron Larsoul.
Yes.
I love your analytics. And again, another episode of America's Lakers podcast, the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers, where I scratch my head and go, Aaron Larsoul always is the answer. If Kuzma plays like Kuzma's supposed to play, we don't really have a problem.
Right.
Brilliant.
And it's a great problem to have.
I can't reiterate this enough. Everything went right when Jeannie Buss said, maybe I waited too long to cut this guy loose. Maybe I waited too long for that. But now it's happening, and it happened. I'm bringing in Magic. They run business. I run basketball. She realized basketball is the business. I got to
reverse that.
What's that?
They run business. I run basketball. Reverse that. Yeah.
When Jeannie Buss did what she had to do, and she said, maybe I waited too long to, fire my brother. I don't think people realize that's family, dude. Like, that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's
every other relative goes, can't you talk to your brother one more time? I mean, what about when you were kids? That's not her family. It's not even mine.
No?
That was, I got to imagine, that's like most people would like, their stomachs would be gone. And she did it.
Yeah.
She did it. It's crazy. Like from July when I met her
of the team.
On Mohr Stories podcast, I met her in July to now. What's happened in the Lakers organization is impossible. You're gone, you're cool. Just kidding. You're gone too. Bring him in, get the pick, flip that guy for a first rounder, go back to 30 and whatever in the draft, and here comes Kuzma 7th. Hey, everybody chill out and think back 2 years of how bad this was. We're good, bro. Real good. This is the stock you want to buy, and this is Lakers podcast, America's Lakers podcast, man.
America's Lakers podcast, the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers. Subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever you go and grab your podcasts, whether it's iTunes or on the Podcast One app, subscribe, like, comment, rate, share, do all that for us.
I have a great one for you. I'm going to give you the poll results to do with Dan Patrick. Go whenever you go to like the Verizon store and they got the iPads out.
Yeah.
Just, America's Lakers podcast. Enter.
I like that.
Just do that for me.
I like that.
Do a lot of favors for you guys, don't I? Like giving you this free podcast all the time. We love it, and we don't do it for any other reason. The poll results, my friend, after 4 minutes, Randall, 62%, running away with it. Second place, Clarkson, Luke, 13%. Larry Nance Jr., 9%. I don't want any of these guys going anywhere. And that's how about that? I don't want any of these guys going anywhere. These are good players. I've learned how to stop talking. I'm like dribbling too much, like Tyler Ulis.
Dribbling the air of the ball?
Not Ennis. Ulis. Aaron Lasso, I love you, buddy.
Yes, I love you. And it's Warriors Wednesday, at Denver Saturday, Rockets Sunday.
This is the team that actually wins 3, and you go, oh, yeah, of course. I mean, they're not. I mean, whatever. I know you're going to roll your eyes at the Warriors win, but...
Yeah, the Warriors lost to the Kings tonight. So it happens.
Yeah, not Kings, then Lakers. Damn Kings. Do you get anything right? Sacramento. We gave you the capital.
We did.
All right, my man. I love you, buddy.
I love you, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Rate and review. Lakers. There's a gold standard. There's a purple and gold standard.
Thanks for listening to America's Lakers podcast with Jay Mohr, exclusively on Podcast One Sportsnet. New episodes every Wednesday on PodcastOne.com, the Podcast One app, or subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
At Covered California, we're not just here to help you get health insurance. We're here to help you get it at a lower cost. 9 out of 10 enrollees qualified for financial help paying for their plan. You may qualify for savings even if you didn't last year. So check for yourself. Or let our experts help you find out how much you could save. Life can change in an instant. Be covered when it does. Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com today. Enroll by December 15th.